When you're going through trials in your life, you gotta speak resilience in your life.
A poem entitled Recalibration by Kasima J. Allow me to gather my spiritual bearings, collect myself. Well, not really myself, but the one who sees all, knows all, feels all, and hears all, one who is uncollectible. The capacity of the human mind cannot contain the beauty of its advisement. One who offers revelation and retribution. One who allows rocks to cry out and also allows man to reflect upon the spoken words of the soul. The extensive awareness of intuition, peace, and consequential influence. Hear carefully, listen intently, reverently seek after the voice of the Lord. Be recalibrated. Allow vision to recalibrate you. Offer and extend resolve. Grow within the testimony still being told. Be planted in prophetic recalibration. Hi, you guys. Welcome to Speak Resilience, the podcast. It's your girl, Tasima, also known as Speak Resilience in the building. Thank you so much for joining me. We have an amazing special guest today from the 2021 Impact and Influence Authors Conference, the wonderful and the awesome Dr. Larry Hill. How are you, Dr. Larry?
I am absolutely amazing. And thank you for that outstanding intro. Amazing. Thank you.
Wow. We're so excited about this Impact and Influence Authors Conference. What does it mean to you to be a part of this event?
Well, I've actually been a part of a few of them, and I think the most important thing with me is to see the excitement of the new authors and different individuals that have published their books. And everyone has a story to tell, and I love the fact that people get to tell their story and also share the revelation that they may have received or things of that nature.
Well, the wonderful thing is you have quite an amazing story to share. Tell our viewers a little bit about this book you've written entitled Prophetic Recalibration.
Well, the title is Prophetic Recalibration. The subtitle is A Deeper Understanding of the Prophetic. I love the prophetic. I love prophetic people. But over the last maybe 10 to 15 years, there have been some distortions in the prophetic. And a lot of people just don't understand the prophetic. And one of the assignments that I have been given is to bring clarity to what the prophetic is and what the prophetic isn't. And it's an outstanding tool that God has given us as individuals to proclaim the gospel of the kingdom in a unique and a special way. And that's to speak into a person's life. You may be able to speak about a circumstance, a situation, or personal prophecy. And we have lots of people that are prophetic, and most people are prophetic, but they just don't know it. But in the book, I do share how to discern those characteristics of a prophetic individual.
Well, I love the fact that you are kind of laying the groundwork and helping people understand. For those viewers who are not familiar with even the term prophetic, can you offer just a little bit of insight, a little nugget for us so that people know what to expect going into the purchase of your book?
Absolutely. The word prophetic is a compound word. The word pro means forth, and the word phatic deals with speech. It means to speak forth or to foretell. That's one of the characteristics of a prophetic individual. I know a lot of people think that just prophecy is the prophetic, but the prophetic is the gateway in which prophecy is relayed, in which prophecy comes forth. So much of what many people have been saying is prophetic is actually a dimension of prophecy. And what I've discovered, we've had a lot of help with misunderstanding what the prophetic is. There's been a lot of miseducation or disinformation in the prophetic. So when people hear prophetic, some people run in the opposite direction. And I really encourage people to learn, be willing to grow, because every individual is prophetic. Many people they really just don't know, and they're not aware of it.
So can you share with our viewers just what you would say is your most valuable piece of advice for someone who's taking on the process of writing a book? And before you even answer, I know that there are going to be workshops that are happening with the conference and all these great things where people will get to be in attendance, hear from you directly, ask you tons of questions. So then what advice could you give someone who's just starting on their writing journey and looking to pull the pieces together?
Well, the first thing I would say is don't be afraid to write. I discovered the ability to write at a young age, and I just thought I'm just a person who just loved poetry. I started out writing poetry in like the sixth, seventh, eighth grade, not realizing that that was a scribal gift that was given to me to be able to write. I would encourage people to do your research, write down your thoughts. Many times people have thoughts, but they don't write them down. And I've discovered that it's within the confines of thought that you're able to establish a foundation. You're able to go back and look at some of that writing without trying to remember, because, you know, as we mature, our memory tends to fade because we have so many other matters that we are dealing with. But I encourage people, write down every thought that you have. People may say, well, that's a lot of writing, but I've just learned to write those thoughts down. And it makes it easier to go back and recall when you begin to write things down, and be as detailed as possible when you begin to write those thoughts down. So when you begin to put it in book form, it's easier for you to go back to that particular thing that you had written down, and then to pick up from there. And then you'll discover that there's even more details as you begin to write from that perspective. That's what I've learned.
Wow, that's pretty valuable advice. You know, I can absolutely relate to poetry being the foundation and the outlet. It was a huge outlet for me growing up as well. And it's actually how I lead into all of my podcasts because it's that meaningful.
Right.
I think an expression of the art and having the capacity to share it and just be vulnerable with it, I think is really awesome. I know may sound like a strange question, but I'm hearing all of your statements. You started writing poetry at a younger age. You have great tools and tips for people who love to write, which is obvious that you've been writing for quite a while. And you're a doctor. When you were growing up, what did you want to be?
Well, actually, I wanted to be a radio personality and a television personality. And I was very fortunate. It's like I knew from the time I was 5 or 6 years of age that I was going to be in radio. And also I was very fortunate to be in television. So I worked in radio as a radio personality for about almost 15 to 20 years. And then I got into television and things of that nature. But somehow, some way, I knew I was going to be an individual who was going to share the gospel as a child. But that's on the spiritual matter. But you know, like many young people, individuals, I love sports. I played football. I played basketball. But I knew with everything that was in me that I was going to be a radio personality, television personality. And I used to always imagine writing books. I wasn't what you would call one of the very smart kids in class. I was okay, but I was terrible with English. I'm just going to tell you, I was just absolutely terrible. But with literature and poetry and stuff of that nature, I love to read. And growing up in the state of Alabama back in the mid 60s, late 60s, early 70s, you know, we had to deal with unenthusiastic teachers. I was an individual that they had integrated to schools my first year or my second year in school. So we had to deal with a lot of things that we shouldn't have had to deal with, but it was just part of the process. And I learned from that process as well. So I would say an introvert. Most people that know me, they would think that, well, he talks a lot, but I really don't talk as much as people think that I do. I'm a thinker. And because of being a thinker, I love to write. I'll write on notepads. I'll write on my phone. I mean, if I get a chance to write something, I will write it. And I never knew the significance and the importance of that in being someone who would love to write. I didn't want to lose that thought. I wanted to capture it. I want to take it out of a dimension and put it into a dimension that I could actually see it. And once I'm able to lay my eyes upon it, I'm able to expound from it.
Wow. Well, okay. So what inspires me is that you have found your outlet. You know what you want to do. You've already done the things that you even thought you would become as an adult. So then, for someone who's accomplished it all, accomplished so much, I shouldn't say it all, right? Because the story is still being written.
Absolutely.
But for someone who is as accomplished as yourself, who is your hero and why?
Who is my hero? Well, I've discovered that my dad was really my hero. My dad was really my hero. I really didn't realize how much of a hero or a role model my dad was, and unfortunately, until his latter years in his life, before he transitioned. My dad was a businessman. He owned real estate, rental properties, businesses, and things of that nature. I was a born entrepreneur. I was born into a family of entrepreneurs. My dad, in the late 50s, and early in the late 50s, 57, 58, he owned 7 to 8 rental properties, had owned a corner store, owned a cafe, and things of that nature. And I did not realize the significance of being a business person or entrepreneur. My dad really encouraged us through academics and education and things of that nature, because that's what they were taught. Go to school, get an education. What I've discovered as I've gotten older, that there are other plans and blueprints that if an individual learns it or take the avenues at an early age, they can avoid debt. And also don't waste a lot of time. And I'm for academics, very much for academics, but that's not the route for everyone. And so I wondered why, even when I was in college, even when I was a young man, I always had some type of business. I actually started working at about the age of 10, 11 years of age. I used to work with, his name was Mr. Bendall. I used to work with him cutting grass when I was 10, 11, 12 years of age. And
all right, let's send a shout out to Mr. Bendall.
Well,
send a shout out to Mr. Bendall's family there.
Yes, it was because he's transitioned. He's in another place. But I was always one that I wanted to have my own. I wanted to have my own money. I wanted to have, because there were so many things I desired to do. And being the age I am now, I wish I would have cultivated that understanding, or even just really had the understanding that I was called to be a businessman. I was called to be an entrepreneur. And I am one of those, I was born an entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur now. And although I had an opportunity to do radio, to do television, I'm just at the tip of the iceberg in the ability to write. I've had maybe 10 to 12 manuscripts for about 12 years. And I'm just now really birthing those things. And I'm discovering the reason for that is I wasn't ready. I was still being nurtured. I was still being developed in my understanding. And I've discovered as I've gotten older, there's just some things that you learn through experience and through age and maturity. There are things you learn how to say things a different way. You learn how to understand other people's feelings. You learn emotional intelligence and things of that nature. And it's been a wonderful journey for me. It's been a very wonderful journey for me. And I'm excited about what's to come.
I know we're all excited that you're going to be present at the 2021 Impact and Influence Authors Conference that's happening this weekend from the 26th to the 28th. I had a couple more questions that I just have to know.
Okay.
So what are you doing when you're not writing?
Okay.
Yeah,
When
what's
I'm
going on in the rest of
hey,
Dr. Larry's world?
when I'm not writing, I may be at the gym somewhere. I am a crazy jazz lover. I love smooth jazz. I go to jazz concerts. I go on jazz tours, jazz cruises. When you catch me with my ear pods in, I'm usually listening to some type of jazz. I love music. My dad was a singer. My dad used to sing with Sam Cooke. My dad wrote songs. He sang in the church, and it's just been, again, my dad's my hero. So that's what I do. I write a lot. I love nature. I love going places. I love to travel. I love to travel. I've been very fortunate to be able to travel. And I'm a foodie. I must tell you, I'm a foodie. I had a scare maybe a year ago where I was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of cancer. And I lost about 42, 43 pounds. And which inspired me to start writing my book, When Life Calls Your Name, Will You Answer? That's one of the next publications that I'm actually working on. I was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of cancer, and I lost about 42, 43 pounds. And the Lord spoke to me and said, son, this sickness is not unto death. And so I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, and here I am now. They can't find cancer in my bone. They can't find cancer in my blood. And so it's been a journey. And I know what it's like to experience pain that you can't describe. And so what it did for me, it allowed me even to open another compartment of compassion up for those that may have experienced their journey with cancer, any type of sickness or whatever. I went through maybe 18 months of losing about 12 to 15 people in my family. From mom and dad, two brothers, loved ones, mentors, god sisters, god brothers, that transition. And that was a journey to me that I didn't understand it. But one thing I didn't do, I never blamed God for what transpired and what I experienced. But then I guess it was as if the Lord just kind of woke me up in a sense and brought me to the place that I am today. I'm probably happier now, more excited about life now than I've ever been. And so what I want to do is I want to speak life. I want to write life. I want to encourage people to live and to live your life to its fullest. I've been a young man that's been in ministry for 30 plus years, over 35 years. I've been in ministry, and it was a wonderful journey. But then I discovered that there's a higher relationship, a deeper relationship with the Lord, that once you reach that place, it allows you to really be yourself and not be what religion has molded or religion has shaped you into, but it allows you to live life. And so I'm a person that encourages people to live your life. You ask me, what am I doing when I'm not writing? I'm living life and enjoying life.
I know that's right. Well, for our viewers, and I'm so grateful that you shared that. I hate that I don't have like a full 3-hour show or something, because I could sit and listen and learn and grow all day from you, Dr. Larry. Just awesome, and a pleasure to have you on the show. When people want to find prophetic recalibration, where can they go? Is it Amazon? Is there a website they can go to purchase? I know all of the books are available at LadyKnightEnterprisesPublishing.com.
Yes.
But do you also have a website where people can go to invest in you?
Well, what I'm doing now is actually restructuring every aspect of my life. And so the website, of course, will be drlarryhill.com. That's one of my websites. But my publishing company is Freethinker Publishing. Freethinker Publishing. And so we will be launching the end of this month. We will be launching, but Freethinker Publishing is where you'll be able to connect with the book. I have a lot of creative ideas. Now, one thing that I do have is one of my T-shirts, and it simply says, "I don't do spooky prophetics." And yes, it says, I don't do spooky prophetics. And it's like I was ministering somewhere one day, and it just came to my spirit, I don't do spooky prophetics. And I went ahead and had those printed up and different things, and they are selling like crazy. It's like everybody's like, I want one. I want one red, gray, white, charcoal. I want one of each color. But
I hope you're bringing some to the conference.
I absolutely am.
Awesome. Well, I'll look forward to getting mine at the conference. And for all of our viewers, we want to thank you once again, Dr. Larry, for showing up and offering us some great nuggets and great feedback. We look forward to seeing you at the conference. To all of my viewers out there, keep kinging and queening.
Absolutely.
It's your girl, Tassima J. Once again, thank you for joining us on the Speak Resilience podcast, Dr. Larry.
Thank you. It's been my honor. It's been my honor. And I'm excited to see you and everyone else this weekend.
Awesome. Bye, everyone. 3 things. Register for the 2021 IIAC at LadyKnightEnterprisesPublishing.com. Attend for free all weekend, March 26th through the 28th at the Embassy Suites Gwinnett, 2029 Satellite Boulevard, Duluth, Georgia. You can also find info on how to buy a book from one of our featured authors, become a VIP member, and become a vendor if slots are still available. Check out Firefly Poetry Night with DJ Stacks B on the 1s and 2s, held every second Wednesday at Gillies The Spot, 4343 Dunwoody Parkway in Dunwoody, Georgia. Our featured poet of April is Q. Come and check her out. Stacks B Entertainment provides entertainment on Friday nights and Sundays, so check out stacksb.com. Don't forget to follow her, like her, tweet her, subscribe, and support us, sister. For more info on this and all events, check out